Hey everyone, my previous video about YG girl groups kind of blew up, so I just wanted to take a quick second to say thank you to all my subscribers, old and new, for your support. I don't update frequently as I have both work and school, and these videos take a while to make, so I thank you for your patience. I read all of your comments, and it makes me glad to see how warm, thoughtful, and respectful the community can be. Keep engaging, keep being kind, and keep an open mind. My previous videos have covered how K-pop management can go wrong, and it's easy enough to hate without giving an example of what should be the standard. So today, I want to talk about a girl group that I think is managed relatively well. Yes, we are talking Twice. Now, I just want to be clear that I'm not saying I agree with everything JYP does. Like everything else in life, it's not perfect. The agency has had their fair share of group mismanagement, and they normalize the industry-wide problem with sexualizing minors. I'm not going to speak on the personal gossip around CEO Park Jin-young because I don't think it's relevant, and honestly, it's mean-spirited to make judgments about that sort of thing with the limited information we have. But I do think, based on what I've read, that JYP has succeeded in achieving near-universal commercial success for Twice, while fostering the members' artistic growth and being transparent about their mental health. Dubbed the nation's girl group by the Korean media, Twice has been a standard bearer for K-pop girl groups since they exploded onto the scene with like Ooh Ah in 2015. Since then, the now veteran girl group has become one of the most prolific and the highest-selling K-pop girl group of all time. With a whopping 7 full studio albums, 12 EPs, and 20 singles, it's typical for Twice to have around 3 to 4 comebacks a year. Thanks in part to the blistering pace of their promotions, Twice has remained not only relevant, but the evolution in their concepts over the years makes each release feel special. But this level of success comes at a price. The risk for burnout is incredibly high. In Twice's 8 years in the industry, multiple members have gone on hiatus due to mental health issues. More surprisingly, JYP has been transparent about it. An article in NME reports how members of Twice and their agency have been uncommonly honest about the mental health struggles they've been through. Take a look at this statement JYP released when Jeongyeon went on hiatus in 2021. Jeongyeon is currently experiencing panic and psychological anxiety. Although Jeongyeon was moving forward with her schedule by simultaneously taking action for recovery, we value our artist's health as the most important issue. Not only does JYP openly name the psychological disorder for what it is, they acknowledge the need for rest even though Jeongyeon was on hiatus the year before. Rest and renewal should be seen as a necessity, not a reward. Ideally, nobody would suffer from burnout to begin with, but it's a start. This is big for a culture like South Korea's, where talking about mental health is seen as a taboo. For a group as influential as Twice, to openly talk about their struggles in an environment that values perfection is not only brave, it sets an example for everyone in the industry and teaches us that there needs to be a balance between productivity and peace of mind. In an interview with NME, Nayeon says, "Before, there was a time when we thought that it was better not to talk about it, but now we don't think that. We think it's much better to be open and honest about what's happening to us." And this isn't the only area over which Twice has a voice. Tracing all the way back to 16, the survival show that determined Twice's lineup, JYP has steadily ramped up Twice's involvement in their music in proportion to their experience as idols. Jihyo reflects in a 2022 interview, "We started off with discussing concepts or styles for the albums, and now we are writing our own songs." Dahyun adds, "In the beginning, a lot of the stuff that we sang was given to us, made by someone else. As we released more albums, our involvement got bigger and bigger." The way JYP seems to encourage a culture of collaboration really resonates with me, personally, as a professional creative who has managed and been managed by other creatives. More than other agencies that use their performers as avatars for the company's music, JYP's system reminds me of how knowledge was passed on from master to apprentice craftspeople in the Middle Ages, where junior artisans learn from more experienced guild members before establishing themselves in their own right. The members are actually mentored instead of manipulated. It would have been easy enough for JYP to make Twice pretty figureheads, but the agency actually seems invested in fostering the growth and independent endeavors of the members, even when it doesn't benefit the agency financially. It's telling that JYP makes this statement about artists who leave the agency. "We want them to be successful outside of our company. If they really did do something wrong, we will never say it. That's our policy. We truly want them to succeed when they leave." If we publicly reveal what they did when they leave, that will hurt them. That's not what we want. To the best of my knowledge, this appears to be true for artists like GOT7, Genie, formerly of NMIX, and of course, Sunmi. Compared to how some other agencies will literally throw their artists under the bus for rebelling, it's clear that JYP Entertainment is more interested in fostering the individual talents of their artists, even if it means they don't end up working for JYP Entertainment. And I've learned from my career that that kind of attention to individualism and respect garners loyalty. That's why it hardly came as a surprise when all 9 members of TWICE unanimously renewed their contracts in August 2022, an impressive feat considering the 7-year curse and the usual controversy that comes with contract renewals. So judging by concept diversity, regularity of releases, collaboration in the creative process, and mental health awareness, I believe JYP Entertainment puts effort into the right areas in order to grow TWICE, not just as a group, but also as individuals. It was clear from the very first moments of Like Ooh Ah, TWICE's debut MV, that the group had something special. Soul Beats reviewed the track, writing that the greatest strength of this debut is that it was executed in a way that showcased the members' individual charms, whether they be musical or visual. Appropriate, as TWICE's name comes from their ability to move people twice, once through their ears and once through their eyes. It's hard to define charisma, this mixture of passion and personality that moves people, creating empathy and emotion through the sheer force of performance, drawing people in. Fellow K-pop YouTuber Tzuyu recently put out a really great video about this, so I recommend checking that out if you want to dig deeper into it. Charisma is especially important for a group like TWICE, whose music is created to uplift their fans. As Nayeon puts it, we want to give people positive energy, and we also want to comfort people. Each member of TWICE oozes charisma in Like Ooh Ah, which references their roles within the group while differentiating their personas. As usual, Nayeon leads the song with the bright feminine vocals TWICE has become known for. Jihyo, leader of the group, struts forward with an entourage, belting main vocalist lines with swagger and verve. Jeongyeon, whom we now know as more of the mom friend, makes a cameo as the feisty tomboy. Taeyoung and Dahyun drip with cool swagger as they trade off rap lines. Momo has that iconic dance break. Mina showcases her balletic grace while Sana comes at us with her cute comedy chops. Chewy's face. One of the reasons why it works so well is because these personas are, for the most part, built on their actual personalities, which we got acquainted with through 16, the survival show that formed TWICE. I generally have mixed feelings about K-pop survival shows. On one hand, they're pretty hard to watch. The usually underage contestants are almost always crying, and for an essay that touches on mental health, I would feel irresponsible if I didn't disclaim that I don't think survival shows are good for anyone's mental health. Sana actively speaks about how 16 turned her fellow trainees into rivals, and that's just sad, come on. On the other hand, survival shows are a way for potential fans to get to know the members of a group before debut, and they give viewers a glimpse at the creative processes and values that become the foundation of the group. From episode 1, JYP makes it clear that what makes TWICE TWICE isn't necessarily beauty or even talent, but the honest and genuine passion to be an idol. I mean, look at the name of the first challenge.
Are you a star?
Not a statement, but a question, because only the contestants can determine if they have what it takes to become an idol. Confidence and charisma comes from within. Everything else is superficial. In an article about JYP, Billboard writes, while some K-pop labels are known for embracing certain genres or aesthetics, JYP Entertainment's roster is more varied, with fans often grouping its artists together based on their personalities or character above aspects like raw skills or visual beauty. In 16, the members who performed best were the ones who, in JYP's words, enjoyed themselves and looked natural. A perfect example of this is Taehyun's now viral eagle dance in the first challenge. It was an unorthodox choice for an idol who are often upheld as restrictively perfect examples of human beings, but look at how much fun she's having. And look at how much fun everyone else is having because of it. They're actually treating this as entertainment. It just goes to show that art may be subjective, but people respond when the artists put genuine emotion into their work, which, in this case, is performance. Genuine charm is so important that it eclipses even talent. Infamously, Momo, who's unquestionably one of the strongest dancers in K-pop, even back in her trainee days, lost to Natty, the youngest performer, because her performance lacked the natural ease and joy Natty showed. But why does JYP care so much about this quality? I've heard people complain about JYP being an egotistical maniac who they wish would just stop writing corny music for himself and focus on producing for his idols. And sometimes, not even that. But I think what people are missing is how intensely passionate JYP is about being an entertainer. In an interview with Forbes, he said, "When I go on stage, it's like a fever I have to let out. When I was a judge on K-Pop Star, I would always want to be a participant instead of a judge. I didn't want to sit there and judge people. My comments can maybe help other kids who want to be artists, but judging doesn't make me lose my mind. When I'm on stage, I can't remember anything until I come back down." Yeah, it's kind of annoying when JYP puts out his own music instead of working on his group stuff, but can you blame him? The dude is literally wild about performing. He likes performing more than he likes mentoring. He even said it. Antis frame his passion as egotism, especially when it's clear he wants to see that same passion reflected in his artists. Maybe that's true, but I believe that he does it because he wants to empathize with his artists, to connect with them in their shared love of performance. In the same Forbes interview, he said, "The key element in me deciding to pick an artist is that person a genuine, pure person that I can love? When you love an artist, it's not work anymore. If you don't like that artist, you can't spend all night working for them, you know? Even last Christmas Eve and New Year's, I was with Rain and his wife. We're still best buddies." The reason why we love Twice so much is because the members were selected on this criterion of empathy. With all their unique quirks and charms, the members exude a genuine sense of love that makes them feel more like people and not just really, really pretty K-pop idols. This earnesty is what keeps people coming back for For me, one of the most impressive aspects of Twice is the group's ability to evolve their concept and adapt their image to the members' growth while maintaining a core look and sound. They know how to keep things fresh even after 8 years in the industry, which is like a really, really long time in K-pop years. Twice may be known for their uplifting, colorful music, but that wasn't always the case. At the very beginning, JYP considered an edgier concept for Twice to emphasize the members' strong personalities and variety skills. In an early interview with Soompi, he was quoted as saying, "They seem like they will be a group with a rough and wild feel, like hip-hop and rock." Thankfully, they didn't commit to another girl crush concept. As Enemy writes, they dropped a previous proposal of an edgy, confident mood for a saccharine pop sound, one that many thought was on its way out. The sweetheart concept Twice became known for in their early days, popularized by groups like SNSD, was faltering by 2015, a year marked by mid-selling releases in the genre that would be eclipsed by the girl crush fad, ushered in by Blackpink in the following year. The fact that Twice pivoted their concept shows flexibility in their approach and a willingness to take risks. Jihyo says, "In the beginning of our years, the company decided on a wild and edgy concept for us, but we learned that the public responded better when our concept was cute and energetic. So that's why we evolved in that direction." This change in direction isn't typical for JYP, who has been criticized in the past for overcommitting to certain concepts. Soul Beats writes, "For all his diversity in sound and production styles, there are times where he is so guided by the idea concept, it tends to hold him back." Despite this, JYP's strength lies in being able to take feedback from his artists. Soul Beats also writes, "Unlike his counterparts who prefer to work behind the scenes, Pak prefers an approach where he is always seen with his artists and exchanging concept ideas with them." In a Strong Card episode, the Wonder Girls' Yeon told the story of how the two of them were working on Wonder World and how he dropped work on a song after her criticisms of it. An album commentary for Twice's Eyes Wide Open from 2021 reveals that Twice weighs in on what goes on their albums as well. They seem to imply that the members vote on the songs, and, tellingly, Jihyo states the members carefully selected the tracks, suggesting that JYP does listen to his artists when it comes to certain decisions. Now, he doesn't do this all the time, and has indeed suffered for it, like in this clip where he embarrassingly rejected a song from Sunmi, and having been a Sunmi in my career, I can say that it's extremely vindicating when this happens, but also, I understand that people make mistakes like this, which is why it's important to stay open to the ideas of others. At least he made the right call by listening to Once's and Twice. Despite the sweetheart concept being old hat, the brazenly bright aesthetics that defined Twice's early era had an extra kick of personality to them that made them feel fresh. This was achieved by adding strange and silly elements to their MVs. From zombies to aliens to classic films, there's so much diversity to the concepts in these years, yet they still managed to maintain a colorful, candy-coated core and make full use of the members' unique charms. In this way, Twice made the classic Q concept all their own. In my opinion, this shift in direction felt organic, almost inevitable, because it suited the members so well. Mostly in their early 20s at the time, Twice channeled the energetic pep and charming naivete that came naturally as rookies to the scene. As the members got older, becoming more seasoned in the industry, Twice showed their ability to reinvent themselves once again by evolving their concept to suit the maturing members and audience demand for change. 2019's Fancy is widely regarded as a turning point in Twice's concept, heralding a new, darker, sexier era that emphasized their glow-up. At a press event for the song's release, Jihyo said, "As you know, we've shown a bright image a lot. We thought our members as well as our fans might be getting tired of it. With the song Fancy, I hope to build on Twice's bright energy and show you a more mature and new image." It's thoughtful of Twice to always put their fans first, but I think once would agree with intern Lee Jung-bin's comment, "Do you get sick and tired of your good friend of 10 years? No way. Fans think of their idols as their friends, and their affection for them grows over the years." Yay, me and my parasocial relationships! Of course, the nice things about friends is that they change and grow with you. Prior to Fancy, Twice had released 11 bubbly MVs over the course of 4 years. The group knew it was time for a change. Taeyong said, "I wanted to show the public that there's also this side of Twice. Fancy, our first album of 2019, will be a turning point." While Fancy preserves Twice's upbeat electropop sound, it's distinctly darker, more seductive, luring the listener in with a vague sense of danger before bursting into a joyous chorus that bridges their previous bright concepts with this edgier turn. It's artfully done. The fact that the song wasn't a complete 180 from Twice's original concept shows their clever execution of conceptual transitions. Not every girl group makes this shift so seamlessly. Often a girl group known for their pure concept will dive straight into girl crush without any fanfare. While this approach can also be fun and surprising, Jihyo explains Twice's more gradual transition. "There's a cute key dance move, but we depicted a more mature side with all black outfits. We will also show a bright side with different outfits throughout the promotion." This type of soft launch allows Twice to maintain the core concept we all know and love. As Mina puts it in an interview with Grammy.com, "I believe the unique point of Twice is that we are always true to our music style. Even though we've tried different concepts and genres over the last years, our music has that power of making the listeners realize that they are listening to a Twice song. I think that's what attracts listeners to our music and our group." At the same time Twice was expanding on their sound, they were also organically becoming more involved in their music. Mina said, "I can't specifically point out when our hunger for growth set in, since I believe the musical maturity happened naturally, coinciding with the growing years of our time as Twice." While the ladies had contributed to songwriting from the start, Fancy U is the first EP where Twice members were credited for the majority of tracks on the release. NME reported on the evolution, writing, "And so Twice began to explore a cornucopia of sounds and styles, synth pop, electropop, retro, Latin pop. The biggest factor was our desire to share Twice's diverse take on music," Dahyun continues. "By putting different concepts and styles of music forward, we showed how Twice is capable of manifesting a variety of looks, instead of just the one that we've been showing since our debut." For a veteran group, it's nice to see Twice branch out and continue to grow their sound, finding out who they are as musicians as they become more involved in their art. Experimentation is a vital part of growing as a creative, and it's really cool to see how playful and open the members' approaches are to their songwriting. For example, Nayeon revealed her thought process behind writing Make Me Go, a B-side on 2020's More and More. "I actually wrote the lyrics a year ago on a plane," laughs Nayeon. "I just watched a movie featuring a female assassin. I don't remember the name of the movie, but there was so much time left on the flight that I just started writing from the killer's perspective." More than writing lyrics, the members are also becoming more involved in other aspects of their music outside of performance. Adding to Nayeon, Jeongyeon said, "The musical work was the most fun. After I wrote Sweet Summer Day, Jihyo did the guide recording. We did that in our apartment, revising the lyrics together, allocating parts to members, and discussing the song together." In an interview with Grammy.com, Mina says, "Looking back at ourselves since debut, I noticed that our members' album contributions have grown significantly. It started out with writing lyrics, but now our members are capable of composing and vocal directing too." I know a lot of companies let their artists write their own music, most notably Hybe and their artists, but it's kind of rare to see a veteran girl group who has so much influence in the field really lean into the creative process. I mean, if you think about it, there's a lot at stake for Twice. They literally have to live up to the name of the nation's girl group. Netizens are historically harder on girls than they are for boys, bringing out the pitchforks at the slightest hint of controversy. Yet Twice and JYP have created the sort of platform for themselves where they're able to maintain a squeaky clean, mainstream, radio-friendly image while playing around and expanding themselves creatively. That's hard to do, and I think there's merit in saying that they wouldn't be able to do this if they weren't so prolific, allowing them to try different things, and experienced as industry veterans. NME sums it up well. Fans celebrated Twice's path from inexperience to self-assured expression, how they'd layered optimism, youthful joy and ambition with the wisdom of growing older and the artistic confidence that comes from time spent in the industry. I believe we are extending the ways we can express ourselves as artists. We started off with discussing concepts or styles for the albums, and now we are writing our own songs. Twice has yet to compose a lead track for themselves, but with their open approach to change, who knows? It's not impossible. I think it's telling that Nayeon says that their latest album, Ready to Be, signifies its ambition to grow up even more, further, as artists. When an artist puts genuine emotion behind their work, drawing from their well of unique and specific life experiences, we can't help but believe in it, feeling the bone-deep rush of a shared truth. In an industry like K-pop that's often criticized for factory-made music and picture-perfect idols, it stands out when a group creates something sincere. While Twice's music often embodies feel-good, energetic pop that lifts their fans up out of the doldrums of day-to-day life, they've also found opportunities to bare their souls in their music. I think one of the reasons why JYP is so eager for Twice to write their own lyrics is because he recognizes the value of personal stories. In an interview with Billboard, he said, "It's very funny. If you look at the Billboard Hot 100, it's less diverse than it was 20, 30 years ago. Why is that? The information travels so fast globally that if something's cool, it affects all the other creators, and they end up becoming similar. The fashion, the music, the dance, it's going to become more and more similar. What elements will make it different? It's the true stories." This is a really powerful insight that I think helps keep Twice's music sounding fresh and compelling, even as an extremely prolific Big Four group, and more importantly, the members feeling creatively fulfilled. Being an idol is stressful work, but I could see members being more invested in the long run when they see themselves reflected in their music. In an album commentary for Eyes Wide Open, where the members discuss inspirations behind their music, Jihyo reveals that she wrote Up No More about insomnia, saying she wanted to reach out to those who also struggled with it. It's so relatable that the other members immediately jump in to share their own experiences with sleep disorders, the way fans might when listening to the song. While Jihyo expresses embarrassment about it, it's this type of vulnerability that make her lyrics vivid and specific, reflecting an aspect of the human experience that fans crave to see in their idols. Life isn't all sunshine and rainbows, even for Twice. The success of Cry For Me, and a Serbic single which discusses a toxic love-hate relationship, proves that fans welcome, if not demand, emotional complexity. The song did so well that Jeongyeon revealed that 2023's Moonlight Sunrise was chosen as their English pre-release because fans wanted more of the moodier Twice. Yet there's no better example of dark realism in Twice's music than 2019's fan favorite, Feel Special. Time writes, refrains like Cheer Up Baby and Let's Dance the Night Away have evolved into something more somber. In the opening lines of the title track from their new album of the same name, one member sings in Korean, "There are days when I suddenly feel all alone, when I feel like I don't belong anywhere." There's a reason behind the turn in mood. When asked about the inspiration behind the song, JYP said it was written with this sentiment in mind. When you suddenly feel afraid and want to collapse, and you're hoping for somebody's warm words to give you the strength to stand again. Sounds specific? That's because it was based on real hardships the members were going through. He said, "During that time, Sana was going through a hard time, and I saw how the members helped her, and that touched me. I wrote the song about their friendship."
Yeah.
In 2019, Sana came under fire for comments regarding an Instagram post she made commemorating the end of the Heisei era. The post, written in Japanese, triggered certain Korean netizens to criticize her for her lack of sensitivity around the Japanese colonization of Korea in the early 1900s. Instead of focusing on the negativity, however, JYP empathized with Sana and turned the situation around by choosing to highlight the light he saw in the dark situation. "When I first wrote Feel Special, it was a different type of chill," he says slowly, with a tenderness in his speech heard when talking about the 9-member girl group. Especially this year, there have been some hardships through a couple of members of Twice. When they have problems, they come to my room and they talk about it. A lot of times they cry. But when they told me it was the members who are right next to them who helped them stand back up, I thought it was so beautiful how much they really truly love each other and how they really truly rely on each other. When they left, I just wrote the song right away at that moment. I was moved because the lyric and the melody were just so touching because it was based on a true story. I don't know how that story wouldn't resonate with people. Once know the close bond the Twice members share, how they've supported each other through the years, having gone through so many ups and downs together. Twice's friendship is a real aspect of their lives that genuinely inspires and moves people. After JYP finished the lyrics, he said he framed them for Sana to put on her wall, to remind her that whenever she was facing difficulty, she could draw strength from the lyrics and be reminded of the people who always had her back. The personal meaning behind Feel Special struck a chord with the members, who saw their difficult situation reflected back at them in the lyrics, validating the heartache they must have gone through. The track was so impactful that 6 out of 9 members chose Feel Special as the most meaningful track out of the group's entire discography. And it shows. You can hear the extra care they put into this song. It was reported that the members cried while recording in the studio. It's worth mentioning that the Feel Special EP features songwriting contributions from all members, including the song 2129, which was written by the whole group, extending the vulnerability shown in the title track with personal touches from all the members. Feel Special allowed fans to connect with Twice on a whole new level, marking this song, along with Fancy, as a sort of coming of age for Twice. Nayeon said, "He talked to us and reflected our stories onto the lyrics. To be able to tell our stories, to express what only we can feel at this particular age, isn't that what a mature artist would look like?" Becoming more in tune with one's feelings is something that, for most of us, comes with age. As Twice channels their growing sense of insight into their music, it's worth it to remember how much courage it takes to put yourself out there, rendering yourself vulnerable to criticisms. Yet, there's always the potential payoff of fans relating to you, making us all, artist and audience, feel just a little less lonely in the world. The story behind Feel Special supports my view that JYP Entertainment treats the Twice members with empathy. They haven't always been great at it, but they're trying. In 2020's Seize the Light documentary, JYP says of Twice, "The concept in my head was healthy. What I mean by healthy is to have a truly beautiful and healthy mind, in addition to external beauty. What if I share the journey of these healthy children growing diligently, sincerely, and ethically with the public through music and various content?" Now, I could and would argue that there probably is no ethical way to raise healthy children in the K-pop industry. I'm no expert, but training teens who haven't fully developed their identities to depend on external validation just seems like a bad and frankly outdated idea. But at least JYP's priorities are in the right place. A lot of K-pop agencies just shut out the criticisms, and JYP's shown that they can not only talk that talk, but also walk that walk to back it up. This priority is most clearly demonstrated in the way the agency has handled member hiatuses over the years. It's no secret that Twice's schedule is intense, even for K-pop. Nayeon candidly explains to NME, "We work so much." Yet, it's admirable how transparent they are about their struggles and how their management stands behind them when rest is needed. In July 2019, it was announced that Mina would not be participating in the Twice Lights tour due to mental health concerns. JYP Entertainment released this statement. Mina is currently struggling with sudden extreme anxiety and insecurity toward performing on stage. They added they were consulting with several medical professionals to verify the cause in detail. The note drew attention for its transparency around Mina's mental health. Time writes, "Artists sitting out of performance obligations is not unprecedented, but their absences have typically been explained by more ambiguous notes like health reasons." JYP Entertainment's statement about Mina's hiatus was lauded for its openness. This is significant not only because of the specificity and honesty of the note, but its framing of anxiety as a medical issue that should be prioritized and addressed by professionals. For a field where high-profile performers are under constant scrutiny, it's a wonder that more idols aren't admitting to having anxiety about being on stage. This kind of messaging is sorely needed in K-pop. As Time writes, Twice has been recognized by the K-pop community for advancing the conversation about mental health, a subject that remains taboo in much of Asia, where depression is often considered to be a sign of weakness, and mental health services in countries like South Korea and China can be lacking. In many East Asian cultures, mental health disorders are still seen as a character flaw. So when idols, who are, by namesake, paradigms of human existence, come out about their struggles, it helps to normalize mental health disorders and reduce the stigma around them. And Twice has consistently maintained the conversation, no matter how difficult it may be. When Mina was on break, her fellow members did not shy away from mentioning Mina or discussing her absence, keeping her as part of the group's conversation instead of sweeping things under the rug, as is the norm. Jeongyeon went on hiatus in October 2020 for a herniated disc she received during more and more promotions. When she came back in January the following year, netizens were quick to point out her weight change, which is like, insane. Like, do you know how serious a herniated disc is? That's in your spine, which is attached to your brain. But maybe these netizens don't understand something they have no use for. Fortunately, most of the coverage on the incident seems to indicate that the haters were a minority, and most people came out in support of Jeongyeon. It's really moving to see how sympathetic fans were towards Jeongyeon's situation, and I think part of that is due to Twice's transparency around her health. Often, when an idol's weight fluctuates, netizens will call them out for not taking care of themselves. And while there were a few toxic netizens like that in this case, I believe that the compassionate yet objective tone of JYP's official statement helped one to sympathize with Jeongyeon and see her as a victim whose health circumstances are out of her control. It also helped when, in August 2021, JYP Entertainment made the unprecedented move of announcing a second hiatus for Jeongyeon, who continued to suffer from anxiety, probably due in no small part to the criticism she was receiving. JYPE's official statement included a clause where they admit that their current approach of simultaneously helping Jeongyeon recover while promoting wasn't working, and a second hiatus was needed in order for Jeongyeon to have sufficient time to focus on her recovery and rest. They also added, as the artist label, we will provide the best procedures for Jeongyeon to recover with sufficient amount of time. When Jeongyeon came back for Twice's world tour in 2022, JYP continued to promote her normally, styling her like the other members and giving her the center time she deserves. JYP did well to handle Jeongyeon and Mina's hiatuses with transparency and compassion. By treating their artists with respect, not only do the fans respond with more empathy, but the artists feel empowered to show their love and support for one another. Time writes, Twice members say that seeing the reaction to the company's statement about Mina's health condition was a relief. We were also feeling similar anxieties as Mina did. All members were feeling that, Nayeon says. As I saw the positive response, I thought that Twice doesn't have to be in a rush when it comes to activities. She wants Mina to be healthy before she returns. Dahyun shares the same sentiment. Physical health and mental health are the most important things that members should take care of, the rapper adds. When all is said and done, maybe the best thing about Twice isn't just their unique charms, their continuous growth, or their honesty in their music. It's the genuine joy that they share with their fans as living examples of kind and healthy people. As Sana once put it, I hope all our members can stay healthy, both physically and mentally. The well-being of all 9 members is crucial to all of us, as we are so closely connected and are basically a family. We will continue to take good care of ourselves, as well as other members, to spread the bright energy of Twice to once all around the world. The road ahead for Twice is wide open. While JYP has fostered their growth and encouraged healthy values as artists, it's inevitable that we see more from the members as they continue to discover themselves. If we were to define ourselves at this point in our careers, Nayeon said in Nylon, I think we are people who can pave our own way.